Hello, and welcome to How to Draw Dragons with the Dragon Story. So, in this episode, I wanted to talk more about the anatomy of wing structures because you not only have like the challenge of figuring out how to draw wings that look like real wings, you also have the challenge of how those wings connect to your body structure. And so, like, if you imagine, a dragon's body, we'll just kind of lay this out really quick. There's its front torso. I usually like making the rib cage pretty large because if it's designed for flight, it needs rather large chest muscles or the pectoralis muscles, just in order to create that sort of movement. So there's a couple of different approaches. This one specifically, this is what I came up with for my dragons because the dragons in my world, I wanted to create the two legs and wings. And so if we have a creature that essentially is a six-limbed creature, how does that fit in? And I mean, usually you want the length of the body to be a little bit, longer to fit all that in. And once again, it all depends on the type of dragon, the type of flight it has. This particular design, and I'll cover different designs, but I mean, this is a little bit more like a dog or lion or horse type of structure. Oops. Where it has the shoulder blade up here, the forearm, or I mean the upper arm, the lower arm. It's designed for walking, to supporting its weight. And so the way I incorporate those, I make sure that the muscle structure can wrap up underneath, right? Because if it has, I mean, if you look at birds or other flying, probably mostly birds. I'm trying to think of what other creatures might fly. Because a lot of other creatures like bats, but I haven't looked at a bat skeleton. But birds will have a very large breastbone because they have large muscles here designed for flight. And so I like allowing enough room to create that muscle that can create the flight. And so then I have to imagine, so I mean, we have essentially two shoulders, one shoulder here. Maybe I'll just kind of map this out. Where's his head? But he'll have another one that's kind of like up in here. But when it comes to wings, I like stretching things out. Like if a normal human being has a shoulder muscle like this, that goes into his arm. There's the chest muscle. I mean, I'll stretch it way out for a dragon because it's evolved for these long. Let me shrink this down. And so a lot of times I'll map out that first arm structure, essentially get the placement of the bone. And then the shoulder wraps around that. I mean, you kind of have to imagine that it has like these two shoulder blades. This one up here needs to be, large for supporting its weight, or if it's like running, it can support this whole structure. This will have a shoulder muscle that then connects into like the chest or the pectoralis muscle right there. And then usually there's the latissimus. I should double check. I know all the names to this because these are all muscle names that I'm pulling from old anatomy classes. And so there's this extreme muscle support to give the dragon the ability to fly. See, and then the chest muscles, they always connect in front, right here, and then the arm extends like the bicep and the tricep comes out from underneath that, and then there's muscles behind it. And they're all designed so that they can create that up and down like flight movement. And I'm really over accentuating some of these lines here, just so you can kind of see the muscle structure. Then of course the forearm. You kind of have to imagine like, and you can even like pose it out, like if you want to make your arm like a dragon or something, I guess. Oh, because a lot of times I'll do that when I'm like, well, what's the thumb doing right here? And then, of course, you end up covering up your beautiful muscle structure that you came up with, but that's okay. Making sure that the wing all connects. Because there'll be other muscles in the back, the spine of the dragon, that you don't necessarily see. And so you'll want to keep that in mind. Of course, then I start drawing, I'm like, oh, I should just finish this. But yeah, this is mostly to help illustrate how I envision the wing connecting to the body structure of an animal. And so if you go research other animals, whether it's lions or dogs or horses, and then you have to imagine this muscle structure that makes sense, that blends in. And I still lean heavily towards like a human arm, just because they have that thumb with the fingers, the arms, and it makes sense the way the shoulder works. I mean, and also researching bird designs, because that would be helpful as well. But yeah, so this is to show how this connects, and this varies between different types of dragons. This is my sort of mammalian style body design, but it kind of shows you the basics. So yeah, there's a quick tutorial on how to draw wings or wing anatomy. Feel free to follow along, check out some of my other videos, and contact me if you have any questions or you want to see any additional tutorials.